So is it a sin to doubt? Interesting question. I think about when Jesus was resurrected. He appeared to a number of his disciples. He spoke with them. He interacted with them. And then they all go to Thomas, who was a disciple, and they say, "Hey, Thomas, guess what? Jesus is resurrected. He is alive. He's walking among us." To which Thomas famously replied, "Until I see the holes in his hands and touch the wound in his side, I will not believe." After which Thomas was saddled with the worst nickname of all time, Doubting Thomas. Isn't that just the terrible thing about nicknames? You make one mistake and you're known by that for the rest of your life. But it's pretty understandable, right? I mean, it's natural to want proof when being told that somebody has been raised from the dead. Thomas's doubt was perhaps a little misplaced, but was it a sin? Is it a sin to doubt? And what does the Bible have to say? Let's take a look.
Attention, bargain shoppers.
So doubt. It was first recorded in Genesis chapter 3. The serpent appears to Eve and begins to sow discord. In Genesis 3:1 we're told, "He said to the woman, 'Did God really say you must not eat from any of the trees in the garden?' Did God really mean what you thought he meant?" And the interesting thing is, so according to the creation account, God told Adam, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die." God said this to Adam before Eve was created, because immediately after God gives that instruction to Adam, we're told that God observes man and said it is not good for him to be alone. So it's unclear if Eve was told directly by God not to eat the fruit, or if she learned about God's will from Adam from this first-hand account, which would be much like how we currently learn about God through the Bible. But regardless, there was doubt right there in the beginning. It's part of humanity. It's in our nature. And doubt can certainly lead to sinning, as it did in the case of Adam and Eve. But is it a sin unto itself? Well, there's a noted theologian, John S. Feinberg, and he wrote about 4 different types of doubt: skeptical doubt, denial, provisional doubt, and ignorant doubt. The idea is that doubt springs from different places within us, and it depends kind of on our circumstances and where our heart is at. So for example, there's a story of a man who brings his son to Jesus. This is someone who has been having seizures since he was a boy, and they're attributing his seizures to demon possession. The disciples attempt to cast out the demon, but they're unable to. Then Jesus shows up, and the father asks him, "Please have mercy on us and help us if you can." And then in Mark 9, we're told, "What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus asked. "Anything is possible if a person believes." The father instantly cried out, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." Feinberg would call this provisional doubt. This would be the feeling that I am unsure about this, but I want to find an answer based on the evidence. It's a very relatable type of doubt. It's a doubt that isn't necessarily a rebuke of God, but it's coming from a place of uncertainty about our own limited understanding. Then we have the doubts of someone like Pontius Pilate. In John 14, Jesus tells us, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And then a little bit later in John, we're told that Pilate is sentencing Jesus, and he asks, "So you are a king?" Jesus responded, "You say I am a king. Actually, I was born and came into the world to testify to the truth. All who love the truth recognize that what I say is true." To which Pilate responds, "What is truth?" Pilate asks a rhetorical question. You see, he's a Roman leader and a politician, and he understands that truth can be what you make of it. Truth can be twisted and manipulated. Real truth can't be. The truth that Jesus offers. But Pontius Pilate is not interested in that type of truth. And so this is Pontius Pilate's denial, what Feinberg would identify as a specific type of doubt. So is doubt a sin? Another question might be, is unbelief a sin? And the answer is that it is something that leads to a less abundant life and something that leads to eventual death. It's something that cuts us off from God, so it's a sin. And we're told in John 16, "When he comes, he will convict the world of its sin, and of God's righteousness, and of the coming judgment. The world's sin is that it refuses to believe in me. Sin, in a theological sense, is a failure to comply with the obedience God requires. It's a deviation from something that God would want to see happen, because doubt impedes God's will. We see this when Jesus goes to his hometown. This is a place where he grew up, where people knew him, but they knew him from a young age. They liked him just fine, I'm sure. They probably were nice enough to him, but they didn't believe in him as the Messiah. They just knew him as Mary's kid. And in Mark 6:4-6, we're told, "Then Jesus told them, 'A prophet is honored everywhere except in his own hometown and among his relatives and his own family. And because of their unbelief, he couldn't do any miracles among them except to place his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their unbelief.'" So their lack of belief in Jesus was a barrier to God's will being done. So at the end of the day, nobody is 100% doubt-free. We doubt. Sometimes you might be 95% faith and 5% doubt. Other days it might be 50-50 or even less. It's not about pretending that we don't doubt. It's about continually choosing each day to have faith. 1 Timothy 6:11 says, "Pursue righteousness and a godly life, along with faith, love, perseverance, and gentleness." So there you have it. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. Also, you can leave a comment below. I'll put the verses used today in the description. My name is Adam. This is Bargain Bin Theology, and remember, you get what you pay for.